Hello and welcome back to Dark Souls 2. Now, as promised, let's proceed through the path that we had discovered the last time. Is this the right way? I forgot. Yes, because we are reaching No Man's Wharf. These be the land of pirates, apparently. And the gimmick, ouch, that, yeah, the first thing that happens is that someone starts shooting at us.
I was thinking more roaches than pirates.
There you go. A lot of people... Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, fuck, I forgot that I get ambushed immediately on this. Fuck. What a great start.
Oh yeah, they were waiting for you.
Oh, we also have attack dogs. Magnificent.
So,
Fuck.
what I could tell, everyone is really excited about Jurassic World Dominion.
Depends. It seems that it's... Okay. The people that I do know from my country really do not like it. But I have heard someone, at least in America, who does seem to enjoy it. So I don't know yet where does that, place it. If it's gonna be worse than Fallen Kingdom. Sorry, yeah, Fallen Kingdom. In between. Something else entirely. Who knows?
I mean, if it's worse,
All I know is I liked the first movie, hated the second one, no opinion on this new one because I have not seen the trailer.
Funny issue, I thought you were indifferent to to Fallen Kingdom, our commentary.
I think when I say I hate it, I hate what they try to do with it, but otherwise it was fine. And by what they try to do with it, I mean cloning people now.
Mm-hmm. From what I get, it's still not really the focus in Dominion. But from what at least Pedro told us, there seemed to be some false advertising apparently going on. So... Anyway, let's see. If I recall correctly, there are people behind here. There you go.
Yesterday, at the time of this recording, I did watch Rescue Rangers. That was good.
Alright, Pedro did show it to you. I still had to watch it, but
Yes.
I'm not exactly in a rush, mostly because again, I know that it's probably definitely intentional or anything. I'm not talking just about the one example, but the animation kinda creeps me out. Not gonna lie.
Okay.
Especially Dale's 3D model. I cannot actually watch it without being scared.
Oh boy, okay. There might be quite a bit in that movie then, because the idea of it is that it deliberately goes for different animation styles depending on the character.
Yeah, I think I got it from the trailer that they were going literally from that vibe. And again, I do understand it, what it's trying to be, but I get the idea it just might not be visually a movie for me.
Who can forget Ugly Sonic?
Yeah. There's even in-universe explanations for
Yeah, basically
them looking different.
Yeah, basically they stress that that it's not actually Sonic.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
It's just basically for the vibe I got. In universe, he was basically an actor hedgehog playing Sonic, but he got fired from that one and was replaced by Hess
Sonic.
I call it Hess Sonic because, well, Tyson Hess made the character designs.
What was that name? What is that? Didn't you guys know that said during the Sonic's at the end commentary that Sonic had a name in the comics, but you guys rejected it because it sounds stupid?
Maurice Ogilvy.
That is indeed stupid.
And Mr. Needle Mouse.
Oh, Mr. Needle Mouse is something that I do know myself. Yes, Yuri?
That was his beta name, though, wasn't it?
Okay, from what I did heard, it's something that is being kind of debunked recently or something. Again, I know so little about Sonic in general anyway. I know bits and pieces of what it said on the SSMV, so... Okay. Anyways, you can see this dungeon is particularly dark, actually. So one particular gimmick is that there are a lot of brazers here that you can actually light up. Again, in the vanilla version of the game, this mechanic was basically pointless because the lighting engine was completely fucked up and you could see even in very dark places. But for the Scholar of the First Sin edition, they toggled it a bit so it's at least a bit better on that front. It's still not the level that they wanted to achieve in the early trailers, unfortunately, but it's still something at the very least. Right, you cannot fool me. Oh.
Meanwhile, there was a PlayStation sale on this week, so I decided to get my Hero One's Justice 2 because it was only £14.
Bandai Namco loves to actually put a lot of their games, particularly the licensed one, on sale for very cheap a lot of times. So
yeah.
If there's one rule that I learned over time, never buy at launch a Bandai Namco licensed anime game because you will find them in a complete format and at the cheapest price later on. So it's better to be patient.
That's the thing, though. They added the English dub for that game like way later on
because people actually wanted it, yeah.
And also because unless it's Dragon Ball or a game from Gearbox, I guess you could say Crunchyroll voice actors now, don't really do video games all that often.
It really depends. Again, by the time we're recording this, they had to be releasing in September the new updated version of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle, which is great. And for its original release, it had only Japanese voices, and it was understandable because English audience did only got a dub until basically season part 3, while the video game encompassed until part 8, you know. But by the time of this release, the dub seemed to have reached at least part 6. So I would think they at least consider it, you know, an English dub, but they don't seem to be in for direction. I don't mind since I prefer the Japanese dub anyway on my own, so I'm not really at a big of a loss. Look, Matt Mercer is a great voice actor and also a great person. Again, watch Critical Role, he's the dungeon master in that. Again, it is fine as Jotaro Kujo, but if you actually had to ask me which stuff to listen, again, I just prefer the Japanese one, sorry.
Wow.
If you don't really want to catch up on hundreds of hours, you could also watch Vox Machina.
Yeah, they made it actually for that specific purpose.
Okay, I gotta ask here, is there anything that you prefer the English dub for something?
Okay, it's a very weird case, and don't ask me why, probably mostly just out of nostalgic purpose. There's this OVA called Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust, which I got to see it first in English, so I guess I basically got more imprinted towards the English dub first. Don't get me wrong, on a quality level it's not exactly great, but it's fine for what it needs to do, so I don't really have anything to complain on that front. So if you want an answer, there's that. Again, it's very in general, since I'm not native English anyway, I'm just not used for that format. So if it's either, you know, either in Japanese or actually in my country, like in the case of stuff like Excel Saga.
I will say both dubs are enjoyable for very different reasons.
What is it? I don't know you, and you don't know me. Things are better that way.
So, who are you?
You are an odd one. Normally, people keep a safe distance when they see
That
you.
hat is super stylish, however.
Which is good because
Okay, so what's with that Winnie the Pooh reboot?
It's okay. Like I'll mention after the dialogue. But anyway, this person is called Lucatiel. This person can actually help us a couple of times during some particular boss fight. We managed to, conserve our humanity and, talk to them enough times.
Even the rumors did not prepare me. You are an odd one indeed. I've always made.
What can I say? I'm a social hollow, I guess.
Well, you've made a point of engaging me. I can see that you are mid-journey. If you require assistance...
Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
I come from Mira,
From the land of Mira.
My sword is always ready. Don't hesitate to call upon me. Whatever happens, I won't be missed.
Well, damn, that's a bit harsh.
You are an odd one.
What was I saying? Right. Basically, Shiri, much like with a lot of stuff that's going on, the IP for stuff like Winnie the Pooh is not right now going to be public domain, and as such, people have taken that to its logical extreme and trying to make, something that will be out of that comfort zone just because.
The gritty reboot.
Yeah, I never knew I wanted Winnie the Pooh. I put it in the chat earlier, but I can imagine how it would go. Winnie the Pooh's got a knife, and he's facing one of his victims, and the victim's like, "Oh, father, slice."
Anyway, there we go. Let's keep moving forward.
Black market honey making.
Yeah, I can't wait for the day that the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory becomes public domain, because I can finally get that Wonka horror movie I've seen in fan-made trailers. I know
Okay,
you think
but
it's
what if
already a horror film.
Yes, sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay, but what if the Winnie the Pooh, what if that Winnie the Pooh movie ends up being almost slightly related in a gritty reboot to the Bee movie, considering how that goes down?
I don't know. I'm not sure I want to know. Also,
have you seen that movie?
Yes, rest in peace, Larry Liotta.
What movie?
The Bee movie.
Bee movie.
No, I haven't. I didn't really watch Seinfeld.
It's a very wild ride, Libs. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, from what I understand...
Okay, one of us hasn't seen it. Cool.
It's basically, from what I understand, it's basically Jerry Seinfeld trying to make a kids movie, but kids movies aren't really his thing, so...
That's the thing, Libs. Considering stuff that happens later, describing it as a kids movie feels not really pertinent.
I don't know.
Okay, let me put it this way. It's as much of a kids movie as the Howard the Duck movie is.
What about Ants?
Ants is... Okay.
As we're comparing DreamWorks films.
Ants is a bit more, for lack of a better term, cerebral in a sense, but yes, it's not for kids, but in a sense that kids have to understand what actually is going on. Stuff like Bee movie is not for kids because some of the things they talk about are clearly not for kids, simply put.
Also, a lot of the jokes, not in the sense that they're, like, inappropriate, it's just kids would not get a lot of them at all.
Let me put it this way also, Dwebs. I get the idea that someone in DreamWorks might have been too scared from all the very cheap pop culture reference that Will Smith made during Shark Tale, and we're like, oh shit, let's do the complete opposite, so at least people think that we're smart.
It's funny as well, since for DreamWorks movies, they released Ants and The Prince of Egypt 2 months apart.
Mm-hmm.
And I also haven't seen that movie.
You should, actually.
What, Prince of Egypt?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. all I've
Great movie.
seen, all I've seen of it are like bits and pieces of when someone made a fake, of when someone made like a fake nostalgia critic video of it, and also that bit that Chris mentioned that making
Turning
a
it on
racing game
FPS.
based on the Ants movie is like turning the Prince of Egypt into a first-person shooter.
Basically, Dibs, have you ever seen the... Actually, no, you probably haven't because it's an old movie. The Ten Commandments.
I think you've asked me that before. I can still tell you that I haven't.
Again, it's also a very important movie for the time it was made. Charlton Heston in the main role. They made a huge, special effect by recreating, in order to recreate the Red Sea parting scene. And again, it was important for its time. But, oh shit, I forgot about these creatures. Let me talk briefly. These creatures are nasty, but there's a thing. They are afraid of light. So if you actually approach them with a torch in your hand, or you manage to actually expose a light source, on the place, they will actually run away scared or actually stay hidden in a corner. So one gimmick of the dungeon is to find a way to actually light up better, all the places. Again, Dweebs, the Prince of Egypt is basically a version for a younger audience of that, and it's fine. Again, the best thing about it is obviously the animation and arguably also the acting. I'm not particularly caring about the songs as per tradition, and some of the comic relief, particularly the two assistants of the Pharaoh, can probably have not aged for the better, potentially, but otherwise it's still a very enjoyable, and you do get exactly that passage from the Exodus, 10 plagues and everything. They don't even shy away from killing the Pharaoh's firstborn, so there is that. Alright, let's try to not get skewered by these fake Vikings because we have old helmets. Done. Oh my god, how many of you guys are there? It's like an entire ship. It's like the ship is empty. Was this like, your day off?
Yeah.
Alright, it's open. Actually, no, it's locked from this side. Ah, god.
So, speaking of things based in dark fantasy settings...
Actually, first of all, give me just a second. Treasure chest. Gimmick or not, Dweebs?
There we are. I don't know. Something about his placement seems really fishy. Don't go for it.
Let's see what the message says. Chest ahead. Well, yes, I can see that. Okay, what about you, Shiro? Should we try it?
No.
Okay, let's leave it there for the time being. Especially considering...
That message seems sus, like, it really does.
No, it's not,
Oh.
I've got a full stop, it's not structured correctly.
Am I interrupting something? You guys are sleeping there. Go on, Dweebs.
So yeah, we finally got a lot of information in regards to Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, like if it's about to come out next year, well, about to, but I mean, suppose it come out next year, as per tradition with a lot of, modern releases, almost all of them in fact, I'm expecting still a delay of any kind. So I have wagered it probably will be released around, say, probably between September and December of 2023.
Yeah, because I can imagine even on like say 15, where
okay. Sorry, Dweebs, if I ask again, what about this chest instead? It's actually an iron one, so it's a more sturdy one.
Again, no.
Shirai?
Open it.
Alright, let's go ahead, Dweebs, while I decide.
So, because unlike 50, where Nomura was in
Okay.
charge for a lot of it before leaving to concentrate on this other stuff, 16 is done by Business Unit 3, which is led by Yoshida, who's also handling 14 still.
Mm-hmm.
So I can only imagine how much of a strain is going to be on all the developers in that section of the company?
Not much, considering, again, Yoshida has stated multiple times that at this point in time, the game is actually technically complete. All the voice acting have been recorded, the story is finished, and also the gameplay is technically finished from start to zero. So my guess is that... Fuck, I cannot die now. My guess is that the rest of the time will be spent you know, polishing up everything and maybe adding one thing or two, like say side material, side bosses or something like that.
And hey, Masayoshi Sokun's doing the soundtrack for it, so that's gotta be good.
Again, I was discussing this off commentary with Pedro, but I was wondering, despite the again, Yoshida keeps mentioning keeps doing the aforementioned claims, you know, about the game being done and everything. So I was expecting for us to get a demo, you know, at this point, but sadly not really. Again, if they are smart enough, they should probably put one with Forspoken, considering, you know, they did kind of something similar to that with Type 0 HD having a demo for Final Fantasy 15, and it did work out in both advertising the game and making the actual game, which was included, to sell. So yeah. Who knows?
And of course, my favorite part of 16, the main character's name.
Clive.
We've had characters named Cloud, Squall, the Guard, Lightning, all very different fantasy-esque sounding names, but none will compare to Clive. Live, as in that guy most Brits probably know down the street.
I don't know actually if they already told if he has a last name or not.
Live. Let me see. It's gonna take.
I mean, even if he doesn't have
Clive Rosefield.
Even if he does. Sorry, go on.
Along with his younger brother Joshua. And someone named Jill Warwick. Again, a lot of those names sound like people that I'd probably know downtown.
You'll be surprised, Lives, because again, one of the main inspiration also are the works of Yasumi Matsuno, which that was a Final Fantasy Tactics series, which does contain also something like that, because it inspires from classic medieval, you know, tales of stuff like Roland the Roncesvalles, you know. And thus the protagonist in that game is, sure, the name is unconventional, Ramza, but his house name is called Beowulf, which is a bit more common, you know, more associated with the Beowulf, you know, mythos.
And when was the last time you've had a mainline Final Fantasy game with absolutely no involvement from the current guard of it, like, you know, the Laurers and so on?
You mean absolutely no?
Yeah.
I guess 9?
11?
9, technically. I mean, again, if you want to count the MMOs, I guess 14, no?
Yeah, I guess.
Well, if I recall, considering how they do use a couple of characters that show up in that game who have been, you know, designed by Nomura, I don't know.
Yeah, like I know for one of the expansions for 14, Nomura did a character.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was for Shadowbringers.
Yeah, either Shadowbringers or Endwalker. Move. I said move.
No.
Fucking artificial dumbbells.
Okay, I haven't gotten to, speaking of 14, I haven't gotten to that Nier Automata bit in the game.
Actually, they started it. I just wanted to trim a bit more my backlog of my PS4 titles before actually reprising, you know, continuing that.
But yeah, there is absolutely no way that Yoko Taro can do his deleting your save data at the end.
No. No, I know already the story anyway. What they did with it, it's something mildly unique, admittedly. But again, it's right there to actually confuse you, because again, in the words of Taro, everything is canonical because his games do work on a multiverse, you know, kind of level, in a sense that stuff is clearly defined where it does take place, but there's basically an infinite number of parallel universes where, you know, different stuff that can happen, which justifies some of the alternate endings that some of these games tends to have.
Besides, as for on the subject of Nomura, he's quite a busy bee as well, because in terms of games that aren't out yet that he's involved with, there's 7 Ever Crisis.
That's more of a mobile title, so he's not gonna do much in that.
There's also 7 Remake Part 2, and those 2 Kingdom Hearts games, Missing Link and 4.
And that's not even counting the very side stuff, like doing artwork for some other mobile games where he's doing the artwork for, like the City of Omnia, for example.
Yeah, I bet at this point he'll probably just try and make any character design task he's given in like a day or something.
Or he's getting some help from his pupil, you know. I forgot his name, the Italian kid.
Roberto Ferrari.
Roberto Ferrari, yes, thank you. There you go, actually bring something near the light, they actually recoil back like that.
Yeah, on the subject of 7 related stuff, I did try a bit of the First Soldier, and it's fine. I probably enjoy it more with a good controller settings though.
Mm-hmm.
And as for Ever Crisis, okay, I'm not sure how much of the stories of the compilation are going to fit into a mobile game without it being just picture-based cutscenes.
They did manage to do it for 15 with the Pocket Edition. And they did a good job at that, and I think it's the same team that's doing it. So I am confident that what we're gonna get is gonna be fine.
Well, it's been developed by Ever Crisis has been developed by Applebot, who also did Near Reincarnation.
Mm-hmm. Actually, he's doing it. The game is still active. This is why the gameplay is kind of similar in terms of, you know, combat.
Yeah. Also, I love this quote from Wikipedia in regards to the game. Voice acting is currently under consideration with the mobile platform's technical limitations, since it's iOS and Android, needing to be taken into account.
Considering again the amount of, again, it is true, other games tend to not have much of it, never mobile titles do, because they already are packing a lot of content, so we have to decide what to do. This is also reflected also in what languages they tend to be translated. Unfortunately, Square Enix tends to be a bit stingy when it comes to text translation, because instead of going multi-5, they would rather just stick to English and at best French and you know, German. My country rarely, if not at all, get you know, mobile games translated in our language. Surprisingly enough, the Inokuni game did it, and it's quite actually good in what they did. Anyway,
on the there's also because there's this new stream for for anything 7 related coming out soon, and I highly doubt we'll get much in the way of 7 Remake Part 2 information, or whatever it's called. Because I mean, it's Square Enix. I'll probably give it a really fancy name, like, I don't know, Final Fantasy 7 Remake,
leave Latin to those who know. And I have to say it on that note, Square tends to not know it that much. Sure, they fancy themselves on doing it, but unfortunately most of the time they either don't know the words or don't know how to pronounce them. Like, look, I really enjoy 15. I do believe the hate that it has got over the years feels a bit too overinflated, but man, no matter the dub, whether it's Japanese or English, the voice actors were instructed to not, you know, get those Latin words in the slightest, for some reason.
I can't really pronounce Latin either, but at least I have the excuses that I'm not paid to pronounce it.
And that you were also not born in a country, inheriting that to begin with.
We have flowers named in Latin.
I don't know actually how the school system works in the UK, but at least here in my country I can tell you that if you want to do a high school that is like specialized in science or in literature, you are actually required to actually learn also both in terms of language, both Latin and ancient Greek, both of them actually. My sister actually went through that. I actually learned most of the Latin that I do know. I learned it through osmosis thanks to her.
Since From Software are very busy doing after-release stuff, post-release stuff for Elden Ring.
Yeah, it's pretty much clear considering the huge success that Bandai Namco told them, yeah, go do some DLC right the fuck now. But it's probably gonna be a long time before we actually see something. They do take their time. Yes,
yeah, so we're probably not gonna get anything else from Software for at least
for a while.
2-3
No,
years.
I don't even think the B team. Keep in mind, Pedro did mention in that one of the conferences that you guys did, I think it was the Xbox one, that the Dark Souls 2 team never did anything, or the director did anything. That's technically wrong. One of the co-directors of this game, I forgot which specific one of the two, went on to be the co-director for both Dark Souls 3 and Elden Ring. And the B team, went to work also on Elden Ring. That's why it bears a couple of similarities to that. Again, this game is chock full of like a shitload of problems on its own anyway. But I can tell why From Software still stuck with a couple of the developers of that and ultimately decide to let them work, because again, with Elden Ring it showcases that if working with a decent environment and still with someone like Miyazaki still at the leading team, they can still turn up something good. Go. Come on, dogs. Jesus Christ.
Ah yes, because as everyone knows, you can phase through wood.
Yes, the noble art of clipping, don't you know?
Yeah, of course. All those people that get lost in forests, all they have to do is just walk through the trees.
Alright, if I recall correctly...
They didn't believe enough.
Yes. If I recall correctly,
Yeah.
there should be a lever somewhere here.
Are there
Yes,
two levels?
there we go.
You fall into a pit.
And die.
It's Emperor's New Groove. You survive, it just takes a bit to get out.
I'd like to know what we need the two levers.
To trick the enemy?
I'm sure I'll go with that. Alright, if this guy doesn't piss me off. There is... Actually, hold on. Oh, fuck. Back. I need to actually go back now.
Speaking of Disney movies, I'm actually really looking forward to Lightyear.
I have seen actually instead the trailer for the new mainline product. I think it's called Strange World or something. That looks also interesting.
I don't think I've seen anything for that one yet.
The trailer has been released very recently from the time of recording. Anyway, let me do something important because there is a Pharaoh's Lockstone. So let's put one of our Lockstones inside. And if I recall correctly, there we go. It lights up a giant brazier in the middle of the entire area, which means all the creatures in the upper area will actually now, flee terrorizing and should not pester us unless we actually want to look out for them. Which essentially, it's not technically a shortcut. Oh god, that far away frame rate. It's not technically a shortcut, but it basically makes our process to actually get there much easier. There you go. See, you just need a bit of light and color to the place.
All you need is light.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't think that song's.
I mean, you're from the you're from the country who birthed the Beatles anyway. So.
Yeah.
Cave Dark. Yes, thank you. Always the boldest of statements in these messages. Alright, let's get inside here.
Yes.
Oh shit!
As opposed to a cave that isn't dark. Yeah, the text just came up on
Yeah, again, like he said, oh fuck. Alright, let's try to do another round in order to get as far as we can. I don't think we'll be able to actually face the boss in this part, but again, we already made some significant progress anyway, and I can, you know, polish up a bit the area, you know, off screen. But... So actually, Dave, what movies did you actually went to see in theaters recently? Outside of, I mean, last time we did mention Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, did you actually went to see anything else?
Okay, I'm pretty sure I did, but I'd have to check my...
Okay, I think you've seen Top Gun Maverick?
Yeah, I think Top Gun Maverick.
Or was it?
That was pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, basically, it's Tom Cruise's character, Maverick, trying to adapt and adjust because he's not just... Because his career now is as a test pilot, but he has to now lead a group of younger pilots, one of them played by Miles Teller.
Oh wow, Miles Teller.
On a very important mission.
So what shade of Miles Teller do we get in this movie? The Whiplash one or the Fantastic one?
I'd say Whiplash.
Cool.
A bit more,
like someone who actually remembered he's supposed to act.
Yeah. Yeah, because, yeah, I mean, I and I'm guessing Tio, have always been really mixed on Miles Teller as an actor. Because sometimes he either turns in a really good performance, or over time, you know, bad script or not. You can sometimes turn in a bad, because, okay, here's my thing, sometimes you really can't blame a script, good or bad, on an actor's shitty performance. If it is bad, because some managed to perform really well in spite of a bad script, like Pierce Brosnan in Die Another Day.
Oh, you were going to say Mamma Mia.
But some actors are just bad. Yeah, like either they're so baffled by the script they just can't get the performance right, or worse, they just don't care. Yeah, that's my least favourite kind of acting.
The one that they don't care.
Yeah, because I mean, you're getting paid millions to faff around and look bored all the way through, and that's not supposed to be part of your character. Which is why I'm guessing I'm probably not really gonna like the cutscenes of Twin Snakes for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
Not because of the Matrix style cutscenes, because I actually kind of find those hilarious. I'm talking about most of the voice acting, because from what I understand, David Hayter had to have a salary cut so they could get the actors back from the PS1 game, but half the cast just sound like they don't want to be there, which I'm like, dude, or dudette.
Uncool.
Really? Yeah, I know, it's like, ugh. I mean, I don't care if you've already done it, you're being paid to do it.
It also probably depends on what they were doing also at around the same time. Pretty sure people like Cam Clark are always, you know, more professional in doing what they want.
Yeah, I understand I understand. What's that character who says you like Super Mario Sunshine?
Lockstone as the Psycho Mantis.
Yeah. From what I've seen, the ones that actually do give a shit, aside from Hater, are you know, him, Psycho Mantis's actor, along with one or two others. But from what I've heard, Colonel Campbell, his actor seems to think he's still giving out a solid 2.
What was Paladin doing around the same time?
Ben 10, I think, or maybe he's starting to do it.
Again, I can tell that even taking aside the first MGS, Paladins usually can, you know, do decent energetic acting. So
Yeah, it's like either he wasn't giving a shit, or they forgot to tell him, dude, you're not in MGS 2. In case you wonder what I mean by that,
yeah, I know, you know already everything about the game. Alright, let's try this again. Come on, get
am I going to be like Hitman and getting to kick him off the ledge?
I can, but it's a bit hard to pull off, admittedly.
Yeah, whereas in Hitman...
Do it anyway.
It's one... Whereas with Hitman, it's just one button press and bam, he's off.
Alright, let me just put this here. Okay.
I'm actually wondering when's the day gonna come and we're gonna find out more about Project 007.
The one done by IO Studios, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, they announced it in late 2020 and we're halfway through 2022 now. So I'm guessing they're getting close to being at the point where they can start showing things. Like, I'm interested to see what their Bond character model's gonna look like. Since they're not using any previous likeness of him. Like, they're not using Daniel Craig or anything. And it'll also be interesting because the last Bond game we've gotten was 10 years ago. On consoles, at least, and it was 007 Legends.
We're kind of...
so bad that Daniel Craig didn't even bother to do the voice.
It's so interesting. We're kind of getting a sort of a mini resurgence of not proper licensed games, but something similar to that effect. By the fact that a couple of licensed games are getting re-released, like the TMNT collection, and for some reason the Bill and Ted video games, we got the news the other day, and I'm like, why? Those games are bad.
Wait, that got released?
No, we're actually getting a small collection of the Bill and Ted video games.
I remember they're also re-releasing that CCTV game from on the Mega CD.
There's no Where Ties is more of a meme than anything. I saw like, oh, hello there, who are you?
When I said that Mega CD game, I meant that one where you switch between security camera footage.
That has been already released, the, Night Trap.
Speaking of that, has promised Where Ties, does that come out?
We don't know yet. Devolver, limited run games haven't mentioned anything, recently, so who knows. Alright, we're not that far off from getting like Bubsy 3D re-release. That depends instead on the Chinese company that owns Acclaim right now.
Also, let's not.
Sure, you're probably gonna get it anyway, so...
There are some things we just leave in the past.
What, like Bubsy in general, yet they made 2 games.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, being very quiet, actually.
Gee, maybe it's because no one actually asked for it in the first place, and that initial hype, quote-unquote, train for his return died out pretty quick.
I wouldn't say hype, more bewilderment.
Yeah, because I mean, it's like as soon as the first one came, stop, and then they released the second game anyway.
And they needed a Kickstarter for some of its like side material, like
But that failed, I think.
I don't know. I honestly.
Yeah.
Anyway, there you go. We unlocked a shortcut potentially to the boss, so we're actually more cut out of the future. Go on, sorry.
Although apparently, I'm not sure if I said this before, but apparently we have found out that Bobsy in those games was not voiced by Vic Mignon. It instead fell to Doug Erholt.
Oh, Doug Erholt, the Squall's voice
Hey.
actor. That's weird.
AKA, and also recently he's been doing a lot, a guy named Inspector Koichi Zenigata from the
Lupin the Third, yes. It's basically the recurring. It's kind of like a bit oh, how can I describe it? It's kind of like a bit the the name escapes me. The inspector from the inspector from the main trilogy of Layton. Forgot.
Shelby.
Shelby. It's kind of a bit like Shelby if Layton was an actual criminal and not like a beamed one, like you tend to do Dweebs. In a sense that he's always constantly on the tail of Lupin the Third, recognizes when there's a bigger criminal that he needs to catch, but other times it's more like for comedic purposes into wacky shenanigans. Again,
I know him more as TK, older TK from Digimon.
There's also one case where he gets brainwashed into believing he's actually a fascist. Yeah, it makes sense in context, trust me. Anyway, on to more pressing matters. Let's talk with this guy with a beard.
I see light, but it remains dim.
Okay.
I am
Carillon.
I've no interest in the
Yeah, here's the thing. This guy teaches magic, but if our character, like in the case of poor Teomori here, doesn't have a high intelligence stat, and as we can see right now,
I forgot we named him Teomori.
yes. There you go.
Truly, we're suffering.
If we see right now, our character has literally 5 points of intelligence. We're too stupid to tie our shoes, apparently. This guy will literally refuse to actually teach us anything magic related. So tough
This guy's
shit.
name is Hillian.
Yes.
He's voiced by James Green, who's only behind the voice actor's credit, at least, is for something called Shakespeare the Animated Tales.
Okay. Also, dude.
What?
Also, like, dude, are you okay? Do you need a minute or something? Okay, let's move on.
Because yeah, like all the other Souls games,
We have a
voice
British
actors-
voice caster.
Yeah, they're all British, which again I love, because again I might be a bit biased, but I like hearing British accents in games sometimes. I sometimes even like it when we get a mixture of Brits and American.
I don't know actually the reason why the Taka Miyazaki always wanted us to want it. It's a thing that they did since basically the first Demon Souls, and they basically just stuck with that. I don't think it was even a case where they were cheaper, actually. It probably was just a stylistic direction. And I find it more hilarious again because William Wonderboy, the voice actor of Patches, who sadly is not in this game, rip, is basically nowadays just stuck in between two extremes. He's either voicing characters in shows dedicated for a very young audience, and I mean like 0 to 3 years or something, or he's voicing a character like Patches in an M-rated game. I find that absolutely hilarious.
The range.
Alright, let's conclude this by trying to do one attempt at the boss by boarding the ship. Hands off your gold or something. Yeah, not that cut to do a pirate. If Jova was here, he will be very ashamed.
That voice acting situation you just mentioned is begging for someone to put audio from one over the other.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think you mentioned Japanese people liking British voice actors in games. Yoshi P was been like that as well since the first expansion for 14.2.0.
Heaven Sword.
Yeah, because I've listened to the 2.0 VAs from Realm Reborn.
They're fine. Like, their Sam Regal actually is the one that I remember the most, and he's fine. What I don't understand is that both for the American and the British one. The voice actor that he chose for Papalimo, which is basically the tiny mage who the tiny Lalafell mage who accompanies Ida in the woods. If your character starts there. For some reason, he has a voice type that is completely different from the Japanese one. In the Japanese one, he has a more lighter type of voice, but you can tell that he's still, you know, appropriate for a character. But in the English cast, he sounds a bit deeper, actually, what he did.
Well, what works in Japanese won't necessarily work.
No, I do know, but the other characters do seem to have instead resemblances. It kind of sticks out. That's what I mean. Alright, if I recall correctly, there should be a sign nearby now that I restored my humanity. So let's demolish a bit the place so we can actually discover that. Oh, where is it? Should be here. Maybe actually up there. Okay, I think these guys oblivious usefulness. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, mate, but you have failed in your duty.
It's more, and also the fact that you know, it's always in the way. The cool thing is that this guy drops always a torch. I think I have explained it, but just in case, the torch in this game works in a very weird way. You essentially have a timer, but the more torches you collect, the more the timer gets extended. It's not like a case where you have, you know, a supply of them or something. It's more of a case where they collectively augment the timer that you have at disposal. It is really weird. Alright, since I don't find the sign of Lucatiel, we're just probably gonna have to wing it. Yeah, we're gonna have to wing it. And my sword is almost broken. Let me see if I have a repair. Just for this, just let's try it.
On the subject of British voice actors, poor Rasmus Hardiker, because he seems to have really on and off luck with projects he's in. Sometimes he's in good ones like Dragon Quest XI, but other times he's in the Queen's Court. The British version of the Queen's
It really
Court.
depends. Alright, the boss of this area is a being called the Flexile Century. Essentially a being with another person fused onto the back torso, and it dual wields. And as the fight will progress, the gimmick of this is that the more the fight progresses, at some point the water will start rise a bit. Not in a case of, oh, you're about to drown or something, but it will actually impede your movements, meaning that the Century will actually have a, you know, speed advantage over you.
I wonder if in any other commentaries we do of things that have English and American voice tracked separately, if we're going to do like what we did for the Queen's Court, we do both of them.
That would be probably too complicated with...
I mean, the only other one I can think of at the minute is Arietti. Because you either get Tom Holland or someone from a Disney Channel thing.
And I mean, we mean pre-Spider-Man Homecoming, Tom Holland.
Yeah, before the whole starring Tom Holland.
Yes.
Yeah, apparently that was his first film role.
It's also particularly hilarious because before even that, people who were stuck around enough for, you know, weird horror movies and stuff like that would knew the name Tom Holland for an actual director. The guy who directed stuff like The Langoliers is not that great as a director. Okay, he did directed the first Chalice play. That one is fine. Okay.
Also, apparently, the whole him, he keeps spoiling his own movies. That's been happening since the very beginning. Apparently, he spoiled a bit of Arietti. Damn it, Tom.
This is why his co-stars do interviews with him, because they need to shut him up.
Yeah. like, I won't be surprised if at some point, the person he's with has to has to like bring something with him to jab him in the side so he won't spoil the movie. He's going to become a marketing risk at some point.
Unless they
Not
want to,
model, actor, but you're probably not spoiling the movie.
unless they want to do that on purpose in order to, not the fake outrage, but something like that to actually, let people talk more about the product.
Yeah, I've seen some people saying I think he is genuinely doing it, but they're just letting him do it at this point.
Like that video I just linked in our group chat. He apparently spoiled Ariete within the first minute of the video.
Ah, for the audio commentary of the...
For the interview he did for Ariete, it's like, dude.
How old is he there?
In Ariete, let me.
Ariete, that was done, I think, in 2010. I think.
Because he's young anyway, but he looks so young there.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see. It came out in 2010, and
and first try. There we go.
Hey.
Alone.
Yeah, because the British dub came out in 2011, so by that point, Tom Holland was
Tom Holland.
Yeah, yes, he was. In 1996 he was born, so he was 15 at the time.
Alright.
Yeah, even at 15 he was still spoiling me.
Let's get the spoils of Wharf on the treasure room. Let's see, it's a pyromancy flame and fireball.
I said spoilers of War.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the Flexile Century. So, the Flexile
We
Century
found the late game plot in the chest.
is a merciless creature whose purpose is to punish the undead. Really? You couldn't get any more flavor in your lore description? Huh. And by operating this mechanism, we hoist the sails and we move with the ship. Don't worry, it's not like we're gonna go that much far, but it's more of a transit us towards our next location. Towards a place we technically have visited already, but we're just going through there through another angle.
And then a dragon fell on him and squished him to death.
The end.
What a sad tale.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what would have been sadder, him meeting his end like that, or that bit in the series of unfortunate events movie where, not being from the book, the Baudelaires would have got run over by a train. I'm still struggling to think of what would be worse, being hit by a train or squished by a dragon.
Okay, let's not disturb the people
Both
here.
felt particularly painful, I would imagine.
I mean, being squished, it would be at least fast.
Getting hit by a train would also be fast.
Isn't that what happens to the bad
Yeah.
guy from Oliver and Company?
I don't know. Seen that one.
I think it happens to one of his dogs.
Ouch.
I mean, the dog was a bad guy, to be fair. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were trained to be that way.
Yeah, but they're still bad guys.
There
They
you
don't
go.
have the brain power to do that of their
They're
own
still
volition.
bad guys.
There you go. We're back
They're
in.
victims.
We're back in the Lost
Yes,
Bastille.
Theo.
We're back in the Lost Bastille. If I recall correctly, there is gonna be a bonfire right here at the beginning, so we can rest there and conclude things up.
Well,
There it is.
Dogs are intelligent creatures. They are complicit.
Alright, with this.
They're not that intelligent.
Alright, with that we can actually conclude in here. We actually did decent enough progress. So tune in next time where we explore, after I, again, spent this amount of souls into, good investment. We actually explore the Lost Bastille and see what we can find. Till next time.